Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and joining me as always is Matt.
Hey, what's up?
Connor's also here.
Yes.
The enthusiasm. We talk about DC Comics on this show, and coming up on this week's episode, we will be talking about Batman and the Outsiders issue 1, Detective Comics 1003, Wonder Woman issue 70, The Flash issue 70, Shazam issue 5, The Batman Who Laughs number 5, Supergirl 30, Hawkman 12, and Wonder Twins issue 4. And notably, Superman's not there because it's usually this week. I got confused myself because I went looking for it and went, wait, why is there no Superman? I got pushed to next week. So that's coming next week, which is fine. So we're talking about DC Comics. That's what we do.
Yeah, lack of Superman made me buy Batman the Outsiders in physical because I couldn't fathom not spending.
Because you were at the shop and you were like, hang on, I've got $4 here that I haven't spent. So
exactly.
Yes,
might as well.
Now next week he goes out of the shop though. He's like, wait, I'm $4 short. What's going on?
No, because next week's been pretty short. I don't get Aquaman in physical anymore. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, next week's a new week. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Okay. There's just this is smart financing here. Once a new week's reset, any guilt you had the previous week is wiped clean.
Hey, if you get paid weekly.
If you get paid weekly, sure, that works.
That's how my food choices go. Like whatever happened last week doesn't count now. So, that's why I hate Taco Bell so much.
I apply that logic to the previous hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I had 4 donuts in the last hour. That's fine. I'm good now. It's a new hour. I'm allowed to eat whatever I want.
I literally had like a full burger and fries meal, and then like an hour later, I went, I can have 4 donuts. I'm gonna eat again in like 2 hours when we're done here.
You know what I had for lunch yesterday? They had a little barbecue for us at work, and they were making steaks. So I had 2 steaks, a thing of grilled chicken or a piece of grilled chicken, macaroni and cheese, 2 rolls, a donut, and a brownie with ice cream on top.
This is a meal I can get behind.
Yeah, that was all from work. They're like, take more. I was like, I can't. So, yeah, but that's all I ate really yesterday. Oh no, that's not true because then we went to Black Bear for dinner. Ignore what I said. to which then I went on a tear to where the server went, wow, are you going to leave anything for the rest of the people at the restaurant? So, yeah.
Didn't like 5 minutes before we started, wasn't Matt complaining he hasn't eaten?
I have not eaten since, that was at 6 o'clock yesterday. I haven't eaten since then. It's 10:30 my time right now.
Yeah, so. I've been scaling back. I've been trying to improve my diet a little bit. Not super amount, but a little bit. I just want to put a disclaimer here that no one should be taking any dietary advice from Connor in any way, shape, or form ever. Right? Just want to put that out there.
I am a qualified nutritionist.
It is a miracle Connor is not 500 pounds. I'm just going to say that right now. It is a miracle.
If he had my genetics, he'd probably
I'd be screwed. I'm kind of lucky in that area.
I look at certain foods and gain weight. Like,
yes, I am the same. I have to try and curb it a little bit. So that has been the diet portion of this week's show.
DC Comics show.
And well, as I'm trying to find this British candy bar I saw a picture of, which is only making my hunger worse. So
yes,
but it's all relevant because the Flash is this week, and it's all about metabolism.
Oh, okay.
That is as loose a connection to make that on topic as you could have ever done.
And it's better than what you did, which was nothing.
I just went for it. I just said okay,
Oh boy! All right, we have one bit of news this week. Just a bit of scheduling, but it's an interesting bit of scheduling. So, Heroes in Crisis issue 9, the final issue of the book, was supposed to come out on week 4 of this month. It has been pushed 1 week, although not because of artist delays or creators, scheduling, anything like that. It's been pushed 1 week so that it's out on the same day as Heroes in Crisis. As Doomsday Clock, rather. Doomsday Clock issue 10, which is next up. And apparently it's got something to do with a plot beat in that Doomsday Clock that they wanted to coincide with, which It's interesting. I mean, I think, in the past, I think early on in Heroes in Crisis, when we were talking about fixing everything that it was doing, we were saying, oh, how long is Doomsday Clock, finishing after this? And obviously it was a different answer at the time. But the speculation being that, maybe whatever it does will be in some way reversed or fixed by Doomsday Clock. And I'm not necessarily jumping on that train and saying that's what's going to happen here. I just think it's interesting that it does seem to, in some way in the greater universe, have relevance to what Heroes in Crisis is doing with its ending. So, we'll see.
Yeah, it just makes me think that Heroes in Crisis just doesn't matter. Good for Tom King for telling the story of,
Are you saying it matters as little as Doomsday Clock ultimately matters?
No, because I feel like at the end it will have a lasting effect from something from Doomsday Clock, whether it's the Legion or JSA or something. Versus Heroes in Crisis, I feel like this is something that's just going to get blown past whenever somebody wants to use Wally again.
I think marketing Heroes in Crisis as an event was a mistake. I think it should have just been, if this is just, no, it's a mini-series, King's doing a story, I think there will be a lot less frustration from people around it.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't excuse all the problems, but I mean, in terms of the anticipation, the hype, and the expectation of how much it should affect the universe.
Well, I feel like Wally West fans wouldn't care how it's marketed.
No, they probably wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was, again, we talked about this, we talked about Heroes in Crisis. If it was something that was interesting with Wally instead of what had happened, it just... it's not going to stick the landing. And I think that's...
I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it would be a better book. I'm just saying expectation-wise, I think put it as an event, there's an expectation that it'll have these big repercussions at the end. Whereas at this stage of where it is in the story, I feel like not having that would probably benefit it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just funny that the guy that works in my comic shop pointed this out because he asked how I was feeling about Wally, and I was like, it kind of sucks because he's my Flash, but I have Bart. Bart's my kid Flash, and he goes, think about it. It's almost as if DC has this rule: there's only allowed to be two Flashes at one time, and for the longest time it was Wally and Bart, and now it's Barry and Bart, and for a while it was Barry and Wally, and then the '90s hits, and it's like now they're running like this two-man weave, and one gets left out. And that kind of sucks as a Flash fan because I love all three. So.
Yeah, hell, I'd like 4. Where's Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Doomsday Clock, that's definitely coming out that week, right?
I think so. I don't think they push Heroes in Crisis to coincide with it if they're not confident that issue. Because that issue's already been pushed anyway. Like, by that point, it's already 2 months. Everyone likes to crack jokes about Doomsday Clock being delayed, but ultimately, most of them are just over 2 months since the last issue, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The reason why it always sounds silly is because they keep not just pushing the next ones back, and they pretend that it's still coming out in the original date, so they have to push it back 8 times until it's then 2 months after the previous issue.
Yeah. I think some of them have got up to 3 months.
No, there was one that kind of got that far, which is why everything kind of got knocked back to a month from where it was. Most of them have been just over 2 months.
Yeah. Look, it's funny just to say they keep getting delayed. But it's not entirely accurate. I feel like people like to. It was a joke. It wasn't meant to be entirely accurate.
Tough. I'm poking holes in it anyway.
That said, I'm much more invested in Doomsday Clock.
Oh yeah,
than
easily.
I did Heroes in Crisis too, and but again, I appreciate King trying to tell that story. But I forget which one of you said it. That marketing as a event was a big mistake. So.
Yes, that was Connor.
Okay.
I'm
still looking at candies. I'm gonna find this damn thing.
I'm not going to take credit for it. Oh dear. We'll get any books there. We don't actually have as much to talk about before the books this week. So we could talk about the new issue 1, Batman and the Outsiders, issue 1 by Bryan Edward Hill and Dexter Soy on the art. This has, of course, been delayed itself, actually, for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Apparently it was... I mean, nothing in this issue tells me what it is, but apparently it was for continuity reasons. It wasn't like, they were behind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because I feel like it definitely lost some momentum not following on from his little run on Detective when it's so clearly a lead into this, like even more directly than I think I'd expected.
Yeah, it references a couple of things from that arc. We're introduced to these new characters at the start, this father-daughter, and we learn a bit more about them later from Batman, about them being in this program that were experimented on.
It's very, very much like what was happening in Silencer. That's what it made me think of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because then we find out who was behind it all. Like, kind of like, oh, okay, that's what's going on.
Yeah. So this villain, kills the father, and I will say I really like these pages. She gets thrown off this highway and lands in a tanker. It's a really fun action sequence. I mean, fun's maybe the wrong
pretty
word.
great throughout.
Yeah. Oh, the art is pretty great throughout. And then we're interested in the team, and it's Duke and Cass, and try to follow orders from Black Lightning, and they're not really functioning as a team very well. There's some doubt, there's some mistrust.
Probably my biggest problem with this first issue is just the Black Lightning constantly reminding them that they're a team. And I'm just like, I mean, had this come out right after his detective run, yeah, but there's been so much time in between. It feels.
Yeah, no, I get it because it
I'm
feels
trying
like
to find the right word.
this isn't a first mission, right? There still has been time passed between that detective stuff and this now, so they've been semi-functioning for at least a little bit.
Right, but it feels. I don't want to say uneven, but it feels like a different Black Lightning than that we had back, and it's probably not. It's just the time in between. So, but hey, we get Cass. That's good. I miss seeing her in the pages of comic.
No. This is definitely the spiritual successor to Tynion's detective run, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a bad team book. I like this issue one quite a bit. I think it does a neat job of setting up the story without trying to cram too much of it in. So, because sometimes with an issue one, there's one or two things that'll happen. It'll feel overstuffed because they want to get through enough of the plot to make you feel like you've got a substantial chunk.
Yeah.
Or it'll feel like there's not enough plot because they just want to introduce things but don't bother setting up enough to make you hooked.
Right.
I feel like by the end of this issue, I get a clear sense of, okay, team dynamics, introducing where we are with the characters right now, and then also setting up enough plot where I understand the hook. I understand where this is going, at least for now. I think
it was a really good issue one. Like, it was. We always just say Tynion's detective run kind of felt like an X-Men book. This definitely leans into that for me when we get to the ending.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. I thought it was a bit cliche. I don't know, a bit seen it before.
But I'm curious to see where
there is time for it to do stuff with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious because I've never seen this done with like a Bat book before.
No.
That's fair.
Because where Connor's coming from.
It is a total X-Men thing, so it's at least different for these characters.
It is. It just, as a cliffhanger, I was like, oh, okay.
I'm going to call him Green Hair Bishop.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sets up some interesting dynamics. Like Black Lightning and Katana have a very different dynamic than the other characters do, the younger characters.
Yeah.
They're co-leaders by the end of their scene together.
Yeah, which I do like, because I like that Black Lightning goes to her to, and she's like, well, I need a challenge. And he's like, well, I don't know what to do with a sword. And she's like, every child knows what to do with a sword. Just do your best and challenge me. And then it flips around later when, he tells her to challenge him as a leader. So.
Yeah, and because we get some setup with the characters, and then Batman calls him in and says, okay, so this thing happened in, what was it? LA, thank you. And he's like, hey, so this happened.
It's always weird getting real cities in the DC universe.
What would have been cool? Set it in Via Hermosa. Try to bring Catwoman in a little bit. That's DC's LA.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. But,
So Batman explains the backstory and what happened and how the mother died after the experiments. Batman kind of saved people from this experiment stuff, but unfortunately someone's hunting them down, someone who knows what they are. So, it's classic scene, rooftop, Batman's given the mission, here's your task, and he kind of leaves off. I'm kind of cool with, like, if Batman just functions in this book, it's kind of like a Nick Fury who comes in and gives them a mission, and then more or less leaves. I'm actually kind of cool with that. Let it focus on the other characters a little bit.
Yeah. See, I forgot
would
this
be
wasn't just.
if it wasn't called Batman and the Outsiders, because that's a bit of a misnomer.
Well, I forgot because I got so excited for it to be, Black Lightning, Katana, and the younger ones working together, and then I remembered it was called Batman and the Outsiders, and I lined up with Connor. I was like, oh, he's supposed to be like this team, but I feel like this is how Hill's going to get around Batman, quote, leading the team, and it's going to be, Black Lightning's team by the end because he's the one in the field. Batman is just kind of delegating.
Honestly, like, context is everything. I don't really care that it's called Batman and the Outsider, because I get they're just doing that to sell books. Like, that is literally the only reason why it's called that.
Oh, Peter, you cynic.
It annoys me, though. I agree that's why they're doing it. But I think if that's what you're calling, if you're going to go, hey, no, this is a Batman book, we're selling it on that premise, there bloody better be some Batman in the team.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
I don't know if I agree with that. What would you rather have, honestly? Would you rather have a book that focuses on other characters and they just use Batman's name to sell the book so it can exist, or would you rather not have the book this way?
I would rather them just call it The Outsiders and see how far it lasts.
No, but that's not an option here. That's not an option in this equation.
Why is it not an option?
Because they're not going to do that.
Well, they could do that. The Outsiders is already a thing that exists. It's got enough name recognition within.
But we know they're not going to do that, though. So the question here is between either you have Batman forced into it, and we have another Batman book, which we already have tons of, or you just use the name, live with it, and get your book that has different characters getting the spotlight.
This whole thing, like, it's always been Batman and the Outsiders, and what changed that was when Nightwing had his team.
Yeah, and it wasn't called Batman and the Outsiders then, was it?
No, but they were trying to get away from that. Here, it ties back into Batman, so I get that. Like, I could see them dropping the Batman from the title later, but I just, the Outsiders by itself as a name, those books don't last very long, So if they want this to last long, you got to put the stupid Batman name on it.
Then you should have the stupid Batman in the team.
No, like, I don't want it to change what it is, just incorporate the title. I really don't care. This is not a problem for me at all. This is purely semantics.
It bothers me.
I just don't care. I'm at the point where Batman's going to be there because he sells. So, and if anybody tries to tell me otherwise, then you're fooling yourself.
Well, yeah, but
so at least Pete admits it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But would you rather they shoehorn him in more just to justify the title, or would you rather just use the title to make sure the book exists?
No, it's fine. I mean, because we kind of buried the lead that Ra's al Ghul is responsible for this, so of course Batman's gonna have to be involved.
Oh yeah, we find out at the end when the future dude shows up, because we find out the person who's behind the murder of her father is a guy called Ishmael, right. And this guy from the future is called Caliber, or at least that's what he's saying.
Green Bishop.
Yeah, he's saying call me Caliber. And he's like, yeah, I'm from the future, and he's all kind of a little Lobo-esque in some ways.
Yeah, but so if Batman's just like, this is his idea, they're on the outside of it, so they're, I just want to know, like, here's my problem with continuity is all the different teams Batman's involved with at this point. It's the Justice League, the different Bat family stuff.
Right now, it is technically just this and the Justice League team.
Yeah. So
I think,
but there's been moments where he's got a hand in every. Well, but yeah, because he had a hand in Titans when Dick was there,
Yeah, but that's all done with now.
So, but no, I'm just saying, like, it's fine. I've come to terms with it, and if I pick at it more, I'm gonna get more irritated. So I'm not gonna pick anymore.
Which is why he's good. He's just a mentor role in this,
and that's fine. I forgot that it was Batman and the Outsiders. I had to go back and check when he was just like, "Hey, Jeff, the penthouse is yours," and then he takes off.
Yeah, this Caliber character, he gave me a bit of a Terminator vibe, actually, partly because he's coming from the future. I think it's actually the shotgun. It reminds me of Keller Reese's shotgun from the first Terminator movie, I think.
Well, that's probably what they were going for, right? I mean, the whole Days of Future Past was post Terminator, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so, coming from that future to save the past. Like,
are those green bits on him? Do you reckon they're kryptonite?
I don't know. I don't know if this is going to tie into Superman.
Yeah,
you have this whole arc's called Lesser Gods, and so it makes me think like it's this future that these meta enhanced people from Roz have gone to war, and it's created this wasteland. So I don't think Superman's gonna be involved there.
Yeah, I think that's just your DC brain seeing green and going kryptonite.
Yeah. It'd be cool eventually if Hill brought in Silencer. I feel like her and Katana would get along great.
Hey, I think this would be a great place for Silencer to be after her book's done.
Yeah.
To be on this team.
And bring Sideways in too.
Hell, who knows? Maybe that's why it was delayed. Maybe it was like, oh no, Silencer's going to end with this issue, so it has to, like, issue 3 or 4 of this has to coincide with...
I just can't help that this last arc of Silencer deals with, Roz creating superhumans or metahumans, and that's what this opens with. Mm-hmm. I just look at that. But yeah, no. If they want to put all of our wayward heroes that we like, have a crossover with the Justice League of China here, like, I'm perfectly okay with this book being that one.
Yeah. No, I actually quite liked it. I the art's really good throughout.
Yeah.
I like most of these characters, of course, getting time, which is always nice. But I think I did a good job of setting up his plot, giving me the hook at the end. But even without the time travel thing at the end, it like just okay. So here's our problem, but we're not going to rush everyone into investigating it right away. We spend most of the book after that opening scene just establishing our 4 core characters and where they're who they are, what their relationships are right now, how they're feeling with each other, the fact that the events of the arc in Detective Comics is still kind of weighing on some of them, all that kind of stuff.
Talking Superman likes Katana, right? Because he's grilled us about lack of Katana love.
I cannot remember.
I don't dislike Katana.
No, but I thought that her scene here with her doing the samurai, the whole blessing the sword and whatnot.
Just on the art, did anyone else think that was a severe amount of cleavage out of nowhere?
Yeah, that's
on
so
Katana.
You guys are higher on the art. Yeah, you guys are higher on the art than I am. Dexter's always fine. I would never pick up a book because Soy is on the book. There's some of the panels with Bruce. Just the way that he's drawn and Soy's style, just not for me. It's very manga-esque. So
I like Soy's art, but I agree that when it gets to that Katana, I like that scene with Katana and Black Lightning.
Yeah,
but there was all of a sudden like, why is she in a bathrobe that's
kimono?
Yeah.
Why is it all left open? You think sexy times?
It just kind of came out of nowhere, and it's so un-Katana, right? Who's usually very covered up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It feels like comic books. We wanted cleavage, so there's cleavage.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Oh.
All right, what are you rating it, Matt?
I'm gonna give 7.5. Good. Solid start.
Connor.
7.
I'll give it an 8. I liked it. I'm looking forward to the next issue. And having been reading some Hill's other work as well over at Marvel on top of his detective run, I'm getting a taste for his writing style. Yeah. So we'll move on into Detective Comics 1003. Peter J. Tomasi writing with Brad Walker on the art. Last issue ended, of course, with Damian being taken, and then Arkham Knight revealed herself to him.
What?
Yes, as we find out in this issue, Arkham Knight is a woman, and we actually see her face really early on, and much like Damian, because Damian literally says for the audience, I have no idea who you are. Like, your face is meaningless.
I hated that, because I feel like you probably should have just showed her face at the end of last issue then, had that been the moment, rather than, because the end of the last issue was, we're not seeing who it is, right? It's a big mystery.
They're building that, cliffhanger.
And then this time it's like, there is no way we could have known who it was, so you might as well have just shown us.
How do you end an issue? How do you end an issue on that though? If it ends with Damian just going, I have no idea who you are.
You don't have to have his reaction. You can still have her pulling off the helmet.
No, that'd be worse. That'd be way worse. You kidding me? You just show her face and then we all go, are we supposed to know who this is?
No. I'm not saying you have to, do a whole big thing about it, but
or just reveal that Arkham Knight's a lady in that at the end of that.
The final page of the last issue, if you actually just showed even the back of her head, the same pose, you're just not cutting off the head.
Mm-hmm.
You're not losing anything. You're not. There's no reason to have this extra mystery there. It's just for the sake of it. frustrated me.
Man, I read this article and it made a really good selling point that this was that future Tim Drake that they set up in Titans of Tomorrow, and who got lost to the time stream
That would have been cool.
because it was Tomasi and they're pulling threads. And now when Pete said it was a lady, I'm like, unless something drastically changed, it's definitely not Tim Drake.
I think what's particularly annoying about this to me is that the issue starts with, oh, we get that reveal of who is it, and it's nobody, right? We're like, who the hell is this? And then by the end of the
Clarify,
issue,
it's not nobody. It's someone we don't know who it is.
Right. You're just like, who the hell's this? And then by the end of the issue, we actually know who it is, and I'm like, it kind of feels really deflated because of that to me.
So do we find out who this is over the course of the issue?
Yeah, at the end of the issue, we find out exactly who it is. Because basically, my thing, as soon as because when Damian gets back to Batman, he says, "Oh, she's late teens, maybe just hitting 20," and I'm like, "Okay, this is someone's daughter. Whoever this is, we know her parents, right?" And the big reveal is that it's actually Arkham's daughter. She's what was her first name?
Astrid.
Astrid, yeah, she's Astrid Arkham.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was my reaction too.
I love the mythology of the different families in Gotham, and Arkham being one of them. You know, with the Cobblepots and the Canes and the Waynes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But now you start doing this, and it always feels like
I'm not gonna lie,
destiny.
I didn't hate any of this. I was kind of fine with it all. I honestly feel enthusiastic about any of it, but I don't hate any of it.
Oh no, I really didn't like this bit. I was not feeling the identity.
Because had he done something that would have been like interesting with it, I might have been pulling me back, because I had been thinking about what you guys had said about the last two issues, and I was like, maybe I'm gonna jump back in if this reveal of Arkham Knight's up there, and it just deflated that balloon.
So much whiplash in this book, because there are lots of things in the middle of this issue that I really like.
Yeah, it's Batman and Robin working together. Because she lets Damian go. She's like, I want you to be a future ally, so you're free to go. And
I do think it's a little bit, because she starts talking about the bond between parent and child, right? And the implication being that she's going to be a mothering figure for Damian is the way she treats it.
Yeah, I thought she was much older based on her dialogue.
I thought she was like 30 odd based on that, and then Damian's like, oh, late teens, maybe 20. I'm like, okay, that recontextualizes that whole scene in a very weird way.
Yeah, so Damian gets out and he uses his emblem and his outfit with a spotlight to sort of make a Robin signal for Batman to find him. They scan for bugs to make sure he wasn't followed or traced or anything like that.
Because that's why, Batman's like, why the hell didn't you just come back to the cave?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I mean, I didn't know if she'd planted anything.
I was like, that's actually a good reason. I like that.
Yeah. No, it is. He always, Tomasi, no matter how you feel about different arcs, his Bruce and Damian is solid.
No, it's good because they realize that he was underground, so they take this subterranean vehicle. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
And Damian's like, oh, I'm going to drive then, and he's like, okay, fine. And he's like, oh, really, father? All right.
Which is such a nice twist on, because we had a good handful of these moments in Tomasi's Batman and Robin, where Bruce was always like, no, you're like 10. Stop driving the car.
Yeah.
I am. I've
been driving since I was 5 years old.
I like this issue more than the last issue, if I'm honest. The reveal, because I almost felt relieved it was someone we didn't know. Actually,
that's great. But you think about the name, and it's she's an Arkham, and she's Arkham Knight. That's
that's my thing. I liked it when she was a no one. When we just got we heard her name was Astrid somewhere in the issue before we got to the end. Okay, cool.
It's very casual. Yeah, it's very casually brought up. Her name's Astrid.
And I was like, okay, I'm digging this. It's a nobody, fine. I don't like the what it meant for the end of last issue, but I can accept. I moved on, and then it got to the end of this, and I went all the way around again. I just hated it.
I mean, my thing here, like, I don't mind that she's an Arkham. I think the idea of an Arkham being the Arkham Knight in the comics is fine with me, if that's what they want to do with it. The only thing that's weird about this to me is the fact that she's Astrid Arkham, right? If they just gave her a different first name, or she wasn't an Arkham, Astrid would be fine. That's the only real concern I've got.
What, you hate the double A?
I wouldn't always hate it. It's just Astrid is just really specific.
It's a bit on the nose, but I feel like Tomasi was getting clever. It's like, what nobody will guess? She's Arkham Knight because she's actually an Arkham. Right?
Well, I actually don't mind it because like part of me is like, okay, so why she's grown up under her father? She wants because you know Batman and Robin run into Arkham at the end of the issue.
The reason her family has an asylum is because of Batman. Like she should be grateful that that Batman's put her family through tough times. Like, or got them through, not put them through. Yeah, that was a slip there.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I like that she wasn't so because I think I was worried about the reveal of who Arkham Knight was ever since they revealed they were going to do this. Like even before 1000 came out, I was worried about what bullshit they were going to pull and who is it Tim Drake from the future? I didn't like that very much. Is it just Jason Todd again? I didn't like that. Is it anyone I could think of from the Bat mythos? I didn't like the answer. This at least is a clean slate, and it's like, okay, well, let's discover who she is and why she feels this way and why she, whatever. The fact that she's Arkham's daughter is just like, okay, fine, whatever. I don't really care.
Just that's the bit that I really dislike.
I'll discover what she's like and who she is, whatever. So I'm. And I thought the issue was well written enough, and
there's a couple of lines of dialogue I thought were a bit weird. Even from Batman, actually, there's one point where Damian's driving and he goes, "Oh, floor it, boy! Iron rails ahead." And I went, when did Batman become Kratos? It really felt like that, like all of a sudden. Yeah,
boy.
I'll know about this come summer hours in 2 weeks. So.
Oh yeah, you're looking forward to playing some God of War.
Yeah, you'll know about it within 10 minutes of starting that game.
Boy. Every 2 minutes.
I'm excited. I've been listening to a lot of Monomarth lately. Getting that Viking going.
You're gonna love the score for that game. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So I like. It's definitely like a pulpy book. Like it's not like top of my read list or anything like that. But
I'm listening now. I love pulp.
But like. I've kind of it's weird because after 1000 I was so down on this. I really did wanted nothing to do with it, and then it kind of drew me back in. And the first issue, but 1001's still been the best issue since it came back. But like I thought this was a fun enough romp. I don't know. I wasn't angry at the end of it. I just don't feel that strongly about this. I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Like I'll see what it does.
I will say with Batman and the Outsiders, it felt good to have that other Bat book itch scratched. You know what I mean? Because I'm not reading this one now, so that felt nice. This now I'm definitely that deflated that balloon of me coming back. Maybe if this sticks, Tomasi goes and does some interesting story with more. Yeah. Because I was on that verge.
This is definitely a Batman and Robin book, at least for this arc.
Yeah, and see, I like that. I like you saying the best parts are with Bruce and Damian because that's what was bringing me back in because I love that relationship that Tomasi's written with those two. So. Yeah.
All right, what you giving it, Connor?
6.
7.5. Well, that'll take us on then to Wonder Woman issue 70. G. Willow Wilson writing with Xermanico on the art, and we continue our our parade through the lovesick town.
Yep, with
Atlantiades.
Atlantiades. So I looked up why that's the name, right? And because Atlantiades was originally hermaphrodite, the son/daughter of Hermes and Aphrodite, right? But also the grandson of Atlas. So that's the Greeks were weird with their names. So, but I'm glad we're getting away from the hermaphrodite name.
Yeah.
So, but I like this issue a lot.
That doesn't surprise me. We have this whole. Basically, they try to confuse Diana and like, Diana, why aren't you lusting after me? And Diana has this moment where like, and I was glad this turned out to be fake because I felt Steve was acting a bit off and kind of weird. Yeah. But then it revealed that it was all in her head, and I was like, okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's all just her worries and fears and this idea that Steve's worried that
made real.
Yeah, that she's going to, not get aged and die like he is, so they're going to separate.
It's very much a Lois and Clark thing. Where they gets brought up with their relationship. So I like that it was brought up here because it's kind of the same thing. So
yeah, I like Maggie right away going, hey, can you run away with me? Like just immediately. Yeah. Got all this influence and so. It kind of continues everything, and the big reveal at the end of the issue is that making everyone just give in to whatever they want actually is a bad thing, because then they just neglect everything else they're supposed to do, and all of a sudden they're not that happy anymore because
they've got to clean the house.
They got to clean the house, or
yeah. Well, it's the difference between love and infatuation, right? That it's not really love they were following; it was infatuation and self-interest. You know, I don't want to take care of the kids. You take care of the kids. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
And like, well, no. If everyone's doing their own thing, then something gets neglected. And I like that Aphrodite brings that up. That like they've had the struggle before, and this is what led kind of to Atlantiades getting, I guess, banished.
Yeah.
But because of whatever happened with Ares on Themyscira, it's reset everything. So
because that's the
point.
That's the point Diana makes, is that she can't just give in to something because it would hurt someone else.
Right.
And then, by the end of the issue, all the humans kind of come to realize that and kind of rebel a little bit. It's like, oh dear, we're in a bit of a pickle now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did laugh at the end page when there's the angry mob of people. It's like, still funny? No, not funny at all. Like, actually, it is quite funny.
It's funny to us. It's not funny to the characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's certainly a bit of a difference. No, I mean, now it's really good again.
Yep.
As it has been when Xermanico's on board.
Yeah.
So
also, I love that they're. Yeah, I'm going through it again. And just the idea that the reason that Atlantiades got banished was because their cult took things too far, right? Even for the gods, they're like, oh no, this is you. You're out of control. Which I like that this is creating a new villain for Diana, because again, that's something that goes against what she stands for, you know. So anytime we can bring up her rogues gallery, it's real cool. She needs more. Well, I like Superman that way. So, and then Maggie and Aphrodite go into the temple of Atlantiades, and
there's a dark void. There's like a
big void. Yeah. So there's nothing there at all. Which
that's not ominous, is it?
Well, I don't know if that's just or if that's a commentary that, you know, without love, right, and infatuation, it leads to nothing, right? Look at the crowd at the end being into a mob because it wasn't what they thought, you know? So the root of infatuation is this big nothing, and that's where Atlantiades draws the power from. So... But yeah, this led me to do a Greek mythology deep dive.
Yeah, I was gonna say this void really made me go Greek mythology. It reminded me of the entrance to like Tartarus,
right?
Which is where like the deepest levels of hell, where Kronos was imprisoned.
Well,
it's like the root of all evil in Greek mythology.
Well, yeah, it is the abyss that you hear when you look into the abyss. The abyss looks back.
Yeah,
and it's what Lovecraft was kind of basing the old gods on.
Yeah,
was this idea of madness?
Is this actually, an entrance to that underworld?
Maybe. So we'll see where it goes. But yeah, man, this is clicking on all cylinders now. So, I mean, I get the melodrama at the beginning of the last issue now, because it was meant to have this soapy quality, I feel now, in retrospect, because this was, it was futile for these people.
These characters who come in complete at the end, we have context for all of it because of those early scenes last issue.
Yeah. Well, and just the way that it was written, too. Like, this kind of over-the-top, I don't want to say it was a tragedy, but almost like we're watching a Greek play.
Well, I never had a problem with those scenes last issue. I think I defended them because I felt they were meant to have that feel to them. And...
Right. Well, no, now I get that. Like, the tonal shift here was definitely on purpose.
So what you're saying, Matt, is that Peter was right.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Oh, thank
God.
God.
Don't come out of my mouth.
Go on, say it. Say it. Nothing better will ever come out of your mouth, Matt. Come on, say it.
I mean, diplomatic immunity, maybe.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah. So, dance, puppet, dance.
What are you giving the book, Matt?
I'm at 8.5.
Connor.
I'm really liking this.
Yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. Not liking this stuff as much as the giant stuff, but I mean it's just maybe my.
Oh no, so good though.
Yeah. So that takes out the Flash. Issue 70, Joshua Williamson writing with Howard Porter on the art, and this is notable because this is the start of the Flash Year 1. Williamson's doing his own version of the Flash origin with definitely some new spins on it. And I think I could really feel, like, obviously we had set up in the last issue where this character shows up and says, hey, you have to remember something new about your past that you've forgotten. And there's that setup, but what I think is interesting just reading this issue, just from a marketing perspective, is that this issue just starts off him as a kid, and there's no mention of that, and I'm like, yeah, this could easily be sold as a trade called Flash Year 1 later without ever reading anything from the run. You could just...
Yeah.
That's presumably the point.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Do we need a reimagining of Barry's origin? Absolutely not.
No.
Like, I don't feel like we need this.
Yeah, I think that's what
whatsoever.
I said last issue. I was a bit cautious, just like, why?
Yeah. That said, did I have a ton of fun reading this with the way that Porter has it drawn out and the way that Williamson is choosing to tell Flash's origin? I am absolutely into this. This was a lot of fun to read.
Yeah. I have a few stylistic things with the art I'm not a big fan of. They're obviously choices. I understand them. I just don't like all of them. A lot of empty space and white backgrounds at points that it just feels empty, and I'm not a big fan of that.
But you're empty inside, so why are you complaining?
He doesn't like the reflection.
I have to fill the emptiness with something.
Yeah.
Booze and donuts.
Oh man, that sounds like a great combination.
No, I like this issue too. I think if I have complaints about it, is early on the issue, see when it's the crime scene stuff and Iris is there and August's like, hey, you should ask Iris out and all that stuff. Like, I was feeling the pacing and I was thinking to myself, oh, this issue will probably end with a lightning strike. Right, that's how the first issue ends. Your
and then it's like 3 pages later.
It's like 3 pages later, and at that point, I feel like it was starting to rush through it a little bit, and it was starting to make me feel like, well, what's the point of doing this? We're just going to rush through it. Bask in it. Let's explore all these moments and how it feels to be the Flash and all the rest of it.
Up until the lightning strike, I was like, this is very prequel-y, and I don't like it. And then we got to lightning strike about halfway through, and I was like, oh, okay. And then we're gonna see him having to adjust, but I did love Iris's entrance. I just love that because of what we know about them, and Barry always being so cautious about her. I think, and to see that.
My problem with the pacing is after he gets his lightning strike, we basically get this montage of him just doing everything he has to learn as the Flash. He's like, oh, I can phase. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I need to eat.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, he learned to phase in like 2 days.
It's just, I think it's too much too quickly, and that kind of bugged me. And I guess it almost just kind of feels like.
I'll tell you what bothers me, actually.
Okay.
On this note here, is he does all of that, relatively speaking, advanced stuff, right? Like the phasing, before he can even stop running. But he can't even run properly, and he can phase.
But I can understand that with the way that Williamson's setting up the Speed Force here, is that through this Force's subplot, there's always a secondary aspect to it, right? And so I feel like him, when he's getting into it, was the phasing was the first part, and once he got that, he's able to settle himself down. It's kind of what he taught Avery, right?
Yeah,
early on.
I kind of hate that scene where he's running for the first time and he's enjoying it. That smile comes on his face.
Yeah,
that should have been before any of the other powers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I can get behind that. I can also, I feel like it just rushes through everything, and make your Flash jokes if you want here about the moving too fast. But I do think it moves too fast through. Like, does he need all these other powers yet? Can that just be something? Even if you don't want to have it in the arc, just you learned all those things after year one. Like,
I might just have my time travel bias on too, because of where it ends up. So I might, I might be looking at it differently next week. After it's had time to sink in.
I have to admit, I don't really like the idea that the first time he properly runs at because obviously he's running really quickly. He's going 100 miles per hour, 200 miles per hour, whatever, right? Yeah. But then at the end of the book, he finally goes, lightning fast, where he, the actual sparks start flying, right? The first time he ever does that, he runs into the future. I don't know if I like that the first time he ever runs at that speed, he goes into the future.
I'm torn. On one angle, I like it's a complete lack of control, right? Which is why he ends up in the future. Alternatively, some build to that speed would have been nice, rather than the first time he runs.
But I like that. I like that accident, because then that's what's gonna make him be so cautious later. Because he had a hard time with the shoes, right? So of course we get the Wayne Tech stuff. So that's what was limiting him, was his shoes. he has these new ones now, right? But he's like in D2 The Mighty Ducks, he's the kid that can't stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here he gets going, he can't stop. He ends up in this future where now his presence gonna mess up everything.
I don't
so
like
old self has to come and be like, "What are you doing, idiot?"
I don't like
You know?
that within days, weeks of getting his powers, he's already went to the future. It feels like we're rushing through too much Flash mythology and his origin so quickly, and it makes it all feel kind of meaningless to me.
It's because this, Flash year one in our heads, we're going right. The running, the eating, the phasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this story is. Flash year one is a story about the future.
Yeah.
And it's like, all that other stuff that you thought was Flash year one, that's week one. We'll get that out of the way.
This is basically Secret Origins Flash, where we're learning stuff that we don't know. So maybe Secret
Origins would have been a better name.
Well, here's the thing. That's what all be fine if it didn't pretend it was that though for the first half of the book. Like, see if it just said, no, the origin stuff that you expect to happen is happening, we're just not focusing on that, right? This is something that happened by accident right at the start of his career.
Yeah, I think year one's the problem here because with DC, year one carries a weight to it. That's the origin arc. So yeah, I definitely get what you're saying, Pete. But here, I like that Williamson subverted our expectations here and goes, "Oh no, this is what really happened during Barry's first year, and this is why he doesn't remember it." Because
Pete saying, "Oh, he doesn't like it," and I don't think I really like it that much either, to be fair. But I think it's you're going, "Oh, it's pretending to be that for the first half of the issue," because it's for the first half of the issue, it's pretending it's year one, and then it goes, "Oh, got you, we're actually a secret origin."
Yeah, it's pretending to be year one, and then it rushes through all the things that because typically, as much as we complain in movies that there's too many origin stories, I actually like proper fleshed out origin stories in comics because most of these characters were created in a time where they got like 2 pages of origin, and it's just not just a character, right?
And so you want them updated for
exactly. So I like Batman year one. I like Superman Birthright / Secret Origin.
That's what I was gonna say. Is Birthright a year one or is it a secret origin?
That's a year one.
Birthright's closer to a year one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Birthright is
my favorite Superman story of all time. So.
But Birthright is a straight here's a very traditional, here's the origin with extra detail, whereas Secret Origin is, here's shit you didn't think you knew.
Right.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, it still functions as an origin story. Like, I think you can still read Secret Origin, and it still functions as a perfect start to Superman if you've not read a Superman origin before.
It's great. But even if you go just strict year ones, obviously you got Batman, Green Arrow, Robin, Batgirl. JLA, that's a really good year one.
And it's not so much that you have to spend time focusing on everything either. Like if this issue ended with the lightning strike, or even ended with him running, like maybe the lightning strike still happens halfway through, and at the end he runs properly for the first time. You can skip time for issue 2. You can come into issue 2 and say, no, he's been doing this for like 5 months now, and he's honed it in a little bit. He's a bit better at it, and we can sort of get to the next.
This is only 6 issues, isn't it?
I think so.
Because this is going to sound really bad, but I'm going to go back on what my thing was. I was from last time we spoke about this. I was going, this is 6 issues of derailing the book. And then and we all went, well, at least it's not 0 year, right? And then I've gone to this and gone, this clearly needed at least 7. Clearly, because this ending, the end moment of this should not have been the end moment. That him running for the first time, like you said, that's the ending to this issue.
Yeah, knowing that Williamson's such a Flash guy and he loves Bart and he got to reintroduce Bart, I almost wish this wasn't Old Wally at the end and it was Max Mercury, and this is how he learns about the Speed Force.
Well, do we even know exactly who this character is at the end? I mean, isn't outright said? But... Sorry,
it says we.
Oh, does it say we? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
When are we going to learn? You can't. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, and plus, that's a throwback to what we saw during. It wasn't Godspeed. I think it was the Reverse Flash stuff. The older version that hinted at the Tornado Twins and whatnot.
Yeah, and
we had the beard and the ponytail. Same kind of vibe.
And I think the hurdle this story has to get over for me personally is, and Connor knows my feelings on this in a general sense. Now, admittedly, this is time travel, and he's going to forget it all at the end, whatever. But Connor knows all too well that I'm not a big fan of shoehorning in things into the history of characters.
He really hates it.
Where I'm supposed to believe this happened between these two things, and
so what you're saying is you love the dice in Han Solo and Solo, a Star Wars story.
I never saw it, but yeah. Your point's clear regardless. It's something that bugs me. It bugs me, like, just to stick with Star Wars comics, like the current Star Wars comic book is set between, like, episodes 4 and 5, right? And it's been the whole time. It's like 60 issues or something like
that. Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
To be fair, that's always been 3 years. So you get a lot done in 3 years.
Only Star Wars books I'm reading right now are the Age of books. Yeah. So those take place all over there.
No, but it's one of those things that it just bugs me that all this is supposed to have happened in that time. And you can say there's been 3 years of time, sure, but do you watch Empire and feel like emotionally the characters went through all these journeys together since the last movie?
I mean, they do feel like a lot closer, and there's a lot going on between them. You can tell a lot happened between them when you get to Empire compared to where they were at the end of last one.
I mean, Leia calls Han a scruffy-looking nerf herder, and like that, you could tell she means it.
Of course, Connor's going to defend. I can't say a bad thing about Star Wars without Connor defending it and falling on the sword of his beloved.
You just can't say
the
that.
The only person that defends Star Wars more than Connor is Alden.
Look,
so.
I didn't defend the dice in Solo. No. I'll let that comment go.
Or his last name.
Oh no, I will never defend that. That was the worst part of that movie.
I act like that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
you're on your own.
A really good movie, except for that.
You're on your own. We'll call you Solo. Yeah. I'm not excusing that. Yeah. No. So this isn't the exact same because it is time travel and he's not going to remember it. So it's not like it has to explain why he's never brought it up before or anything like that. Right. But I feel like in media, because people constantly want to go back to the character's past and insert things, we constantly have to come up with reasons to why it's not. Me and Connor was
Emiko Queen.
Me and Connor were watching Star Trek Discovery, and one of my problems with that, because that's a prequel show, is like, why is Spock never mentioned that he had this half sister? And in the season 2 finale, I won't spoil it, but in the season 2 finale of Star Trek Discovery, there is this really shoehorned in explanation as to why it's never brought up again, and it feels so bullshit. And clearly the intention of this right from the start is that no, Barry never remembers this, and the whole point is this is a secret in his history that he has to remember for some reason. Okay, fine, but ultimately, there's conceptually just a block for me where I have to get over that, and they're going to have to convince me that whatever happened in this future story is worth the effort of going through it.
Do you know what I think is really fascinating? Yeah, we talked about how this seems primed to just have as a Flash Year 1 trade, right?
It did for the first half of the issue, then it.
well, no, that's I think it still probably is the intention, but. With it being all, this is what you forgot. I feel like, okay, now we're playing with the future and that sort of stuff. I feel like this is actually going to tie into the run quite a bit. And it might, by the end, is it going to be fulfilling in its own right as a trade on its own? And
it may not be.
Again,
9 times out of 10. That's why
it's more of a Secret Origins.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, we would never consider this, right? We would never say, oh, but it doesn't work on its own. It's, because it's, trade 9 of a run or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But when they're calling it Year 1 and they're likely going to go, here's Flash Year 1 and sell it as that.
Though. I mean, it's been all since I've read it, but didn't Green Lantern's Secret Origin also work perfectly fine as a standalone origin story? I think it did, right?
Well, yeah, but it also sowed seeds of what Johns was doing. So if it was your first, foray into how... You still needed some of the stuff that we got because it plays into arcs before.
I still think that one
not as bad as something like this.
I still think that one worked completely as an order. I mean, sure, there's definitely small details and things where if you'd read it in the order of like reading the run, it would be like, hey, that's linking up to this stuff. But
the Hector Hammond stuff in particular.
But that book's that arc still worked. If you handed someone they'd never read Green Lantern before, you could hand them Secret Origin, and that would still work as a origin. I
haven't read it recently enough to be sure that you're right on this, so we'll have to just take your word.
But it does move. It doesn't move nearly as fast as
No,
this, but it does go through Hal's origin.
Yeah, at the very least, though,
fast.
I remember that going through the origin and doing all the beats in a pace that felt kind of natural. Whereas this, it's like, no, let's rush through the actual origin so we can do this secret part. Because, I mean, is the rest of the whole 6-issue arc now going to be in the future until he comes back?
I suspect yes.
I don't think so. I think that there's going to be lessons about time travel and whatnot and the forces. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's necessarily
That's something I'm not looking forward to, tying in all the forces into
I
the
definitely
origin.
think that's where Williamson's going with this because of what led to this.
That might actually date this and make it like a make it a
Yeah,
year one that stops being timeless, because you know, most of the year ones you can kind of read no matter what the continuity is, they kind of still function.
Right.
I'm not sure this one's going to. I think this might be too tied to this run, too tied to this continuity. When you know, in 5 years' time, we got new writers, and they're all those forces. That's all forgotten about, right? We're never touching on them again. I don't know if this will stand up to that.
I like this less talking about it I did after I read it.
I'm still into it.
Joe, my problem is I think, you know, the way I don't know who said it earlier, it was Matt. This is there's a potential here with the ending of this that this is going to remind me way more of Zero Year than it is of any year one.
Yeah,
and that terrifies me.
Maybe. So we'll call this. I can't call it 1 year. Damn it.
I just I was looking forward to just getting a nice streamlined version of the Flash origin.
See, and I don't
with Williamson's voice.
I don't, yeah, see, and I didn't need another Barry because I've seen Barry's origin enough times.
Well, it's not so much that I needed it, but I think I would prefer just a nice streamlined.
I think I needed at least an issue of it. I think we needed that one issue of, okay, here's the origin beats, the running, you know, because this does the running, the phasing, the eating, all in the space of about 3 pages. I think we needed at the back half of the issue still just to, okay, maybe the out of control bits, okay, hang on, I'm eating a lot, and then, okay, let's see how fast I can go, and let's try and stop and do the running, and in there, all the phasing, the time travel, I think that needs to come in the second issue.
I hate to agree with Connor. Then you know what I do.
All I know is that I need to get into the Speed Force somehow so I can justify all the food I eat.
Not as much as Connor. It's because I actually, you know, I think Williamson's voice is great for the character. I love the art in this. It starts moving too quickly, and then the ending, it just turns it into this thing that I wasn't expecting. And it's not so much that it has to just be what I expected. It's just that, okay, so now we're doing this future story instead of actually just doing like a nice streamlined version of the origin.
I just want to just slightly relish in the hypocrisy for a second here, because all the time when we talk about movies, especially with Peter, I'll say, yeah, but it did these things that I wasn't really expecting based on the trailer, and you're like, just enjoy it for what it is. And this here, you're going, well, I was expecting an origin. I wanted a year one, and now I'm getting all this future stuff.
No. I disagree with this hypocrisy comment here, because this is different.
Of course you do.
No, but this is different, because this is it's not even that it's called year one, though. I mean, I guess it partly is, but this is part of the run, and it's not so much. I mean, if it wasn't going to be a year one, I can get on board with that. Although it'd be weird that it's called year one. It's that I just don't know if I like what it's doing at all. It's not just that, because usually when I say that to Connor when I'm talking about a movie, it's because I like what it's doing. It may not be necessarily what the trailer set me up for, but I still like what it's doing. I still think what it's doing is good. I'm worried I'm going to hate that. I don't think I like that it's this weird story in the future.
I'm in the opposite of where I think I might end up still really liking this, but I'm annoyed that it's not what it's supposed to be. It's not the story that I was promised. If they'd called this Secret Origin, I'd have a lot less problems. I'd still have some problems with this issue structurally, and the pacing, but I don't think I'd have as much of a problem with the story as a whole.
Yes. I mean, I might end up loving what it does here. Maybe this will be a great story of character development for Flash and you know, whatever. But the shock value of the ending, like. And I think the other thing is, like, you know, we've done a lot of time travel stuff with Barry recently as well. I'm kind of like...
You're getting a bit burnt out on it.
I'm a little bit burned out on it. I could do with Flash not have anything to do with time travel for like a couple of years.
Yeah. I'm digging the t-shirt and jeans look.
Yeah, it's okay. It's better than Superman wore it.
I knew that was coming.
This makes more sense though. He's just got, because I also like that his t-shirt doesn't actually have the lightning bolt on it. It's just now he's got a red shirt on with some jeans and some knee pads.
Yeah.
Yellow collar as well, I think, right?
Yeah, but it's not like he's got his symbol, because that just.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna come with the lightning.
Yeah.
He's gonna learn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's seen old Barry now, so it's just like, hey, I'll take that.
Hey, I like that.
That's the problem. Now we've got causality and time loops and, you know, snake eating its own
I
tail.
think I just made
nonsense.
Pete hate another point.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you know, you're right. I kind of hate that he's seen the Flash logo from the future before he thinks of it. That actually does really bug me.
Who knew Back to the Future was bullshit?
Mate.
Yeah. Sorry, Pete. I meant that as an offhanded comment, and then I went, oh, shit.
Yeah, Matt's referencing Endgame when Connor's not seen it yet.
It's just fine. I don't care anymore.
He doesn't care.
Well, he doesn't
Hey, Connor,
care
you seen
anymore.
Shazam yet?
No.
Yeah, there you go. You better hurry, because I'm not going to be able to keep the spoiler wall going more than 6 weeks. We're almost there.
That's fair.
Oh dear. Yeah, this ended up a bit more of an expansive conversation. I thought it was going to be on Flash.
I came into this thinking, I'm quite positive, but I got nitpicks.
Yeah, I felt, because it's actually a really easy read. The voice is good, the art is good, and I like
there's a pacing problem with the structure of the issue.
Yeah.
The flow is good.
And the first chunk I like, but
that page where he let me find it again. It's where we're getting used to the grid panels, and then they all kind of disappear because he's running. Let me find it. Porter sets it up throughout the whole issue.
Yeah, and it's the red and yellow panels come in as well.
Yeah, it's after he runs for the first time, and it's when he ends up in the time travel, because you get the cracker boom at the top, and then he kind of trips. So, and they all kind of fade away into the bottom piece.
Yeah, I wasn't actually a fan of that. The
liked
where
it.
you can still see the layout of the panels behind him, and it just fades. Yeah, I didn't realize, because again, that's that big empty space negative stuff that I wasn't feeling in this issue with the art. That was a big example of it, and Iris's introduction was another big moment where it was just her, it was all these newspaper headlines behind her, but on this just this plain white background didn't work for me.
I liked it a lot. I want to clarify just one point before we get to ratings.
Here we go.
It's like, I don't mind them adding stuff to Origins if they do the Origin at a pace that makes sense and it's a new detail within the Origin. My problem here is that they rush through the Origin and then it's like, no, we're just doing this big new thing instead.
It really just felt like, the Origin. We don't actually need to do this.
And that's why I feel like I like it, because I like the swerve. So
I'd like it more if it was a secret Origin.
What are you rating them, Matt?
I'll be an 8.5.
What are you rating it, Connor?
I have come down significantly to like a 6.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 as well.
Oh, wow.
Here's a question. Pete, before we started this conversation, what did you have it at?
Maybe a 7. I don't know. I hadn't thought about the number yet, but...
Fair. Okay. I had it at 7.5 beforehand.
I don't think about numbers I'm giving anything until we sit there and decide.
Fair enough.
Well, that'll take us on to Shazam issue 5, Geoff Johns writing, and I've just written down "and many artists" because I'm not writing down 4 names
on a list.
Okay, so was this out of necessity, or was this how Johns had it planned?
Bit of both.
I think it's out of necessity, but because they have these different worlds, they just thought, we'll just put one artist on each world.
It's an easy excuse, because you got Santucci, Eaglesham, Collins, and Rayner.
Yeah, and you've got. I need to look at the title page here. So Marc or Santucci is on the Rock of Eternity Black Adam stuff. Eaglesham is on the Shazam Funland stuff.
Funland.
Scott Collins
the Game Lands
is in the Game Lands, and then Max Rayner is on the Wildlands. So they just sort of separate via land. So yeah, Black Adam's pissed that idiot Billy Batson has unlocked the doors to all these lands.
Black Adam.
Yeah, and I feel more and more like Black Adam's regaining that anti-hero status.
Yeah, because this is I've got to go and kill Billy Batson before this gets any worse. But
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but he is trying to stop the problem. I mean, he's
Yeah.
doing it in a very evil way. He could
Yeah.
just stop him, but he's like, no, I've got to destroy him.
Yeah, so I must destroy Billy Batson. Yeah, that's the exact phrase he uses. Of course, at the end of the book, though, when we come back to him, he's actually stopped by Savannah, who is like, if you don't want to join Mr. Main Society, then, you know, it'll be your end.
Do away with you.
Yeah. So that's cool. So basically, once again, we get a little bit of advancement on each of the characters. But all split up, of course. We have like 3 sets of characters. You know, Shazam's dealing with what's his face?
King Kid.
Thank you, King Kid. I forgot his name. And eventually gets Mary's gag off, and then she says Shazam, and the pair of them, you know.
Which I love what John sets up here about what the Funlands means, where, you know, as a kid you go there and you just do whatever you want, right? And then as soon as you turn 18, now it's your job to help create the fun, right? And it's almost like this take on what it means to become an adult, right?
Yeah.
But it's in the most perverted sense possible. So, and I like that Billy's just kind of like, you don't understand how bad that is, King Kid. And he's like, well, give me the power of Shazam, and, you know.
It's almost like a kid's interpretation of what becoming an adult is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's like, well, give me the power, and I'll set you guys free, and, you know, you'll have to live here and whatever, but whatever, you know. And I like when he gets the muzzle off of Mary, and they get to Shazam.
So
I think there's a little bit on the art, just because, you know, I'll talk about it section by section, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought Mary's face, she's yelling Shazam, was a bit weird, but then the next page was like one of the best pages in the book.
Oh yeah, the page where she's in her costume is great. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
such a bit of whiplash going from like probably the worst panel in that section to then the best page.
Yeah.
And then we move to the game lands, and we got Pedro and Eugene, and Eugene's all like, I'm good at games. Yeah. Actually, I love the idea of him getting a headshot online and then just reminding whoever he's playing against, I'm 8, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in the biggest jerk way possible.
Yeah. So he's all confident. He transactions like 10,000 points, which puts him in a deficit, and then he's not allowed to race. So now Pedro's the one who has to race, who sucks at games and never wins anything ever. There's even there's a quick little flashback later on of even Darla beating him at like chess or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny. Whereas in the Wildlands, we get Kangaroo Court. That's maybe my favorite scene in the whole book, actually.
Kangaroo Court.
Court, yeah. There's so much stuff here, and the kangaroo said, I don't care if they are children, they eat meat. We've all heard stories of hot dogs and hamburgers, and then at the bottom he's like, no human is innocent, and it's just, you know, it's this court. And my favourite panel might be the shaggy dog, who's their appointed lawyer, who says, I had prepared a statement, but who am I kidding? How can anyone possibly defend a human?
It's very, have you guys seen Idiocracy?
No, I've not, no.
Okay, so it's the, you know, Luke Wilson's this dumb guy that volunteers for this project to be frozen, and he gets unfrozen in the future where things have just gotten progressively dumber, to whereas he was like this dumb guy who is now the smartest person on the planet, and he ends up having to go to court, and Dax Shepard is his lawyer. It was very much of this, where he goes, I can't defend him because, you know, he doesn't deserve it, basically, and yeah. Very much Idiocracy.
Yeah. And they're sentenced to death by tigers. And the one tiger we met, what's the name of the...
Takitani.
Thank you, Takitani. Gets stripped and is told that he's going to join the other tigers. And the mayor, who's an elephant named Crunkit, Mayor Crunkit, comes in, and he's got some tiger slashes.
I love how regal this elephant is.
Oh, he's very regal, yeah. He's basically a tall Oswald Cobblepot in a lot.
Yeah. You know, I liked his backstory too, and it also makes you think that Johns definitely has a thing for elephant people, because Hawkman, he had the Ganesh guys, you know, in the early run, and then you had what's his name in the Blue Lantern Corps, who was an elephant dude looking like Ganesh.
Oh yeah.
And now you got Mayor Crunkit. Like, he's working this archetype, and give him a Babar book. All right, who's ever in charge of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Johns would love that.
So yeah, that's basically it. And then we come back to Black Adam. When it's Savannah at the end.
Yeah, I love Crunkit's origin though, to where he was, you know, they're the whole it's very Zootopia in this way.
Yeah, I was getting this.
Yeah, where you have the carnivores are looked down upon because they eat meat and they're savages, and that they were pushing them. The humans. Is that what it was? They were pushing the humans.
Yeah, I think they were going to wipe the humans out, and the tigers betrayed them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I don't know if it's so much that the tigers were on the human side, though, or is it just the tiger decided to eat?
He was betrayed by a tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so this is why the tigers are put into this pit where they can just, be the execution system.
Feral beasts.
Yeah.
So obviously he's got to save the kids.
Yeah. Well, and because Tawny is trying to be better, right? He's at terms. It's also Nemo in that way. Fish are friends, not food. And then Bruce has the freak out. So
yeah,
Johns is going full Disney here.
He is a bit, isn't he?
Yeah.
But Shazam's the perfect property, I feel like, for that.
Yeah, and obviously you get your message in here of them sure, and on paper the all the people who don't want to be eaten are the ones in the right, but the idea that they've become just as bad as anyone who was in charge before, because now they're enforcing their rules on others and making others
But the line of the issue is at the end we get back to Black Adam, and he says, join him or die. And he goes, I got a third option. How about I remove your head? and I did imagine that coming out of the voice of Dwayne Johnson. And I was like, oh, man.
No, because that'd be how about I remove your head, jabroni.
Yeah, jabroni. And he raises the people's eyebrow.
And then maybe stick it straight up his candy ass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Turn it sideways first.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Turn it sideways. And polish it as well. Shine it up real nice.
Yeah. Shine it up real nice.
Yes.
You lost me after jabroni.
It's okay. So, but no, yeah, Shazam, really, really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a quick read. I flew through this, and it was over. So, but very delightful. All the artist changes,
it's jarring, isn't it?
Transitions,
even though individually they're quite good.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely got from the Scott Collins pages that felt rushed. So that's why I asked if this was by design, but I don't know.
But hey, we'll see. So Shazam issue 5. What are you giving it, Matt?
7.5.
Connor?
I'll go with an 8, but would have been higher with more consistent art.
Yeah, I'll go an 8 as well. So that'll take us on to the Batman Who Laughs issue 5. Scott Snyder and Jock. And I believe Matt's the only one who read this because Connor ran out of time.
Sons of bitches.
Hey, I've not read this in issues, Matt. It's not me.
I know.
I'll be there for the next issue. Don't worry. I just ran out of time.
If I didn't have Williamson waiting at the end with his book that's coming, it's almost unreadable for me because I just don't care at this point.
What about for the second time in this episode? Peter was right. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah. Well, we've known this, but I said I was in this for the long haul because of Jock.
I agree.
That was far too nonchalant for you to agree with that, Matt.
I agree. We have known this, Matt. I agree.
So, yeah, but I don't care about the Batman Who Laughs. I don't care what's going on with Bruce. It's just tough. This was one of the first things I read just to get it out of the way. It's like a Band-Aid, so I'm gonna have to go through it by page to be refreshed. But like in most Snyder stuff, there is stuff in here that's really good. I just don't know if this is the place for it because it opens with the story from Bruce telling about his dad the first time he took him on a subway and how most in other cities public transports are centered around the heart of the city, and the further away you get, the more expensive it is. So you have a lot of the poorest people living at the center of the city because that's just the quickest way to get around. But in Gotham, it went to the reverse, and everybody wants to come to the heart of the city because of the way. And there's this map of Gotham on the subway tokens that reminds people of all this. So, of course, this ends up being all a setup for the Batman Who Laughs plan. And Batman ends up getting out of this shootout with the cops that was left there last time by basically scaring the cops and reminding them that he knows everything about them. He knows who they are and who they are and where they live, and they still are just like, oh no, we got to take him out. They bring in like the Gotham SWAT team, and they have armor-piercing bullets. So Bruce takes some damage while using the um, the keeper of the prison, the warden. That's that word is the warden. Bruce Wayne, and his whole suit was armor, so he uses his body as a shield, and that's how he ends up getting out. But also by removing a head, right? I think of this Bruce, and holding it up, and when he threatens them, and proclaiming he's the Batman who laughs. And I was just like, all right, I can't, like, what's the point of all this?
There can only be one.
Like, yeah, right. It's Highlander, and so we find out that Grim Knight has Gordon, and that he basically wants him to run, so he kind of lets him get away. But all of the Robins that are there were specifically chosen by the Batman Who Laughs because they're all his son, James Jr., and that was for extra torment. So he's gonna, yeah. So he's gonna stab him with this knife that was specifically, he designed to kill the Gordon of his world. But then the real James Jr. shows up and rescues Jim. And they end up getting back to, where the last laugh's going to happen. But before all this, the Batman Who Laughs goes to the Court of Owls to basically get some assistance, and they turn him down. And in grand fashion, they send, the smallest one makes the deals. Remember, and she decides who. And now the youngest is in a wheelchair, which I think came from. Did that happen in during the courts? You guys have read this more. Did something happen to her in the Court of Owls or since?
I don't recall, but
okay,
maybe.
Well, now she's in a wheelchair, and she decides that she doesn't like the cut of the jib of the Batman Who Laughs, so they bring in the Talons to take him out. Oh, but of course, Batman Who Laughs already taken care of the Talons and ripped off their arms because Batman Who Laughs, right?
Because Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, and that he's remodeled their maze. So, basically he's turned this against them because he's the Batman Who Laughs, and kicks her off in her wheelchair into a pool of water, and then decides that he's going to take out the entire Court of Owls with a dark version of Bruce Wayne who overtook the Court of Owls as a Talon, who became the leader. So Bruce gets out with James, James, Gordon, and James Jr. end up meeting him, and they have this big thing where you can't do what he wants you to do, but that's what he wants you to do is not to do. So I have to do what he doesn't want me to do. Which at this point, I'm just confused of what the actual point is of executing the last laugh. Is this part of the Batman Who Laughs plan? Because it probably is, because he's unbeatable at this point.
This sounds like a packed issue.
Oh, it is. It's huge. It took me all my lunch hour to read it, just because I would get so bored, and I would go check my phone. Okay, I gotta get back to it. But yeah, so there's this image, there's this message from the Batman Who Laughs, who's goading him to basically that Gotham isn't what he thinks it is, and that Gotham was meant to be a weapon. It was meant to be the symbol of what is wrong in the world, and it's not meant to be the symbol of the hill that the story ties back into of what Thomas was telling Bruce as a child, that it was meant for the opposite. It was created so that the seat of Gotham would become the seat of power. It's a fortress where a newer, stronger man could be incubated, and that's what this last laugh is. And so there's an earthquake, and it looks like, or I think it's an earthquake, where all these stalactites come down on I think James Jr., but we don't know what happens to him. And Alfred's pleading, don't do it, because Batman's wearing that stupid thing. He's crying. And then he goes and activates the last laugh anyways. So yeah, it's I'm so mad at Williamson for announcing the story arc because now I have to get through this.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 left though. I guess this was 5.
And I think it's only really one issue of this story, and then one will be setting up.
Yeah.
Is this 7 issues? I thought it was only 6.
They extended it. We talked about this with the news last week.
Really?
Yeah, with the Williamson book that's coming, the Secret Six stuff.
Well, I mean, I guess.
It's very infuriating because it's everything I don't like about Snyder, but then there's these bits I do like about Snyder.
And they're always in there somewhere.
Yeah, so like the thing of Gotham, and I love the research that he does. Like he did it with the Wake too, to where there's these little bits of research you can tell that there's a thread there, and I really like that thread. Incredible. But it doesn't pay off because it's gotten to the point where if Batman wins, if our Batman wins, it's going to be because of Batman.
And if he loses, it's because Batman Who Laughs.
Right, and it's a no-win scenario. It's the Bat God, and I hate the Bat God. And here it's the Bat Evil God, or the Evil Bat God, here with Batman Who Laughs. And now there's, him becoming what he hates, and I get all that, but I don't know what the right decision is. I don't know if in the story him activating the last laugh is what the Batman Who Laughs wants him to do, or if it's what he didn't want him to do. And it's so murky. I also don't like him taking out the Court of Owls because he's the Batman Who Laughs, and him going through and taking out the Talons before. I get it. He's seen all the different realities, but at the same time, to keep the Court of Owls as a boogeyman, I feel was effective. Like maybe they go along with him, and that's why he was able to do all of this.
I think the other thing I'll defend is you said, you're not sure whether or not activating it is part of the plan or not.
Right, that's part of the story.
Yeah, no, I think that is based on what you said, an intentional feeling, because that seems to what Bruce is like I don't know if this is what he wants me to do or not. I don't know if this is the right thing. Right,
and that's the crux, is Bruce doesn't know, but at this point it's because Batman on both sides, whatever it's going to be, it's not going to be fulfilling because this is not going to last. Batman's going to triumph for whatever it is. So
yeah, that's fair.
I'm wondering what the threads with James Jr. are, because is he going to regress, and is he going to be the thing that's coming out of this, the bigger threat? Because we all know that's why Snyder introduced him way back in Black Mirror, right? Is he's this greater threat of Gotham itself. So yeah, because he's a born sociopath. Like he has no reason why he's like this. Versus you have the Batman Who Laughs, is the reason he's like this is because of the Joker toxin.
Shit went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, and with James Jr., this is just who he is, and that's what's scary. No amount of good would ever change him. So
yeah, that's fair.
Again, there's threads in there. And the art's fine. Like it's Jock does things. Batman Who Laughs is perfectly creepy, going and talking to the Court of Owls, and Jock's Court of Owls look great.
Yeah,
them behind the dead masks, like.
It's rare you can complain about Jock.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not him. It's definitely Snyder, and I just don't. I didn't need to see the Talons minus their arms, and I also feel like he's nerfed the Talons. Like there's this whole year set up in Batman of the Court of Owl stuff, where they were these badasses that took the entire Bat family to take out and to neutralize. And here, Batman Who Laughs just rips off their arms, and now they're completely nerfed. Where I've seen Talons lose body parts and keep fighting, So.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm gonna rate it, and I'm gonna give this one a 3.5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh baby. 3.5. Feeling not quite alive. That'll take us on to Supergirl issue 30. Marc Andreyko writing with Kevin Maguire on the art. So this one is the big confrontation with Gandello. Yep. Mm-hmm. And Zinder's there. And this issue was a very quick read because it was very much just the fight. It was Supergirl and Gandello fighting.
So, I don't like in the physicals that I feel like I had more to go and I got to the end and I was taken by surprise because there's this big, thick preview for Last Night on Earth. So when you're reading it digitally, you're like, oh, you get to the end. It's fine. You don't have that heft of the pages.
There's no expectation based on weight. Yeah.
Yeah. You just get to the end. And then here I went, oh, no, I still have oh, no, it's over. but yeah, so the quick read kind of worked against it here, but I didn't. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it, because I like seeing Kara cut loose here fighting Gandello, because she's just like, no, she deserves to die for what she did. She wiped out Krypton, and you see her get up to that cusp, and like she's removed Zinder from the equation by using her freeze breath, and basically telling Crypto to keep watch over him, and she goes to get the axe. And you think, oh man, is this, what finally is going to happen? And no.
Yeah, she gets really, really angry. She's got the axe. This feels good. I'm all angry. And then there's this really heartbreaking moment. There's a great Crypto moment before this where Zinder's in the ice and he's like, Crypto, you have to help me get out so I can help her. And he gives him this like evil look. He's like, you.
No, you're staying here, man.
Yeah. But Supergirl goes to kill Gandello with the axe, and Crypto jumps in, and like we see the blade just stop in front of Crypto's face, and it makes Supergirl reconsider what she was doing, and she thanks Crypto for like saving her. And it's a really sweet moment. I will say on the art, there's a panel early on that I didn't like of Supergirl's face. It was she's yelling plan to what, finish her Kryptonian genocide, when she's arguing with Zinder at the start, and she just looks like so beefy.
Yeah.
Is the only word I've got to describe it.
Yeah, it's a bottom panel, right? You're talking about?
Yeah, bottom panel. Yeah. But other than that, the art's pretty good for the most part. Action flows really well. Like I say, it was a really quick read. I was done with this so quick.
Yeah, I like the fight. The fight feels impactful because Maguire uses these big panels.
Yeah.
For like the first punch she lands on Gandello, it's just a close up of her just smashing her face, and then you just feel Kara's anger throughout every panel. But yeah, and there's the Zinder's trapped in this frost thing, and Crypto's looking, and he looks so sad of what Kara's become, because of her rage.
So Crypto's used very effectively to make this work and make the emotion land. And it's kind of exciting when she is going kind of badass with the axe, but ultimately it's the wrong thing to do. And the sad looking Crypto's face as he blocks her, just it melts your heart a little bit. Melts your heart. Yeah. So she's like, "No, I'm sorry, Crypto. You're right. That's not who I am." And then she does this, actually another big cool action beat where she punches the ground so hard that a pocket of lava from underneath the crust of the planet comes up and blasts Gandello in the face.
Giant ice, a frost giant version of Gandello.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But then the axe gets kind of wacky, and it's like it's dragging her somewhere into a ship. And the big cliffhanger at the end is that Superman and John are both there, and Superman's like, "Oh, this is a unexpected, but happy surprise." And older John's like, "Oh, hey, cuz." This says it's going to find out what happens in Supergirl 31 and Superman 12. Is Superman 12 the one that's out next week, or is that next month?
No, that's 11.
That's 11.
11's out next week. Yeah.
I was wondering if that's why they pushed it a week. Maybe is that it makes more sense after the Supergirl, but maybe it's just that's next month. So no, it's nice that they're going to interact with each other, and they can reconvene, and Kara can tell Superman what she's found out about Tsar and Krypton's destruction
the cult,
and all
because
that.
Even Zinder's like, oh, there's Tsar cultists still alive. That's not going to be a problem. So we're going to get a Superman and Supergirl crossover with John and Crypto both in the mix as well. So I'm looking forward to that. It was good, really quick read, but good. What are you giving it, Matt? I'm gonna give it an 8.
8.5. We're at 8.5. All right, we'll move on then. You two can move on to Hawkman issue 12. Robert Venditti writing with Bryan Hitch on the art.
Yeah, so this is the end of the first year and the end of the first major arc, and I think Hitch's last issue on the book.
Yeah, and I will say it sticks the landing very well.
It does, yeah.
We get all the Katars from times taking out the Deathbringers and dealing with their basic not invulnerability, but unkillable. What's it called when you're unkillable? Immortality, I guess.
Invulnerability.
Yeah, invulnerability.
Yeah, invulnerability, because
it's more immortality because they can still be hurt and they die. They just come back.
Yeah. So,
Indestructible.
yeah, but
It's more mechanical though, isn't it?
yeah. So basically, we get this whole.
I've run out of words that begin with "in" to satisfy
Yeah.
Matt's question, but there you
He
go.
is
Yeah.
not a good enough thesaurus.
But
Okay, do you have
basically-
other suggestions, Ginger?
No, but I read the issue, so I've got other things to contribute.
Piss
But
off.
so the overarching theme of this whole year, you can say, is change, and that's who Hawkman's always been, right? Is time, change over time, and so it starts off with this him and what's his Idam, yeah, who in this issue looks a lot like Vin Diesel. So now
He
that
does.
his voice to me at the end became Vin Diesel, and it made him that much more of a worthy adversary. Weirdly, right? But so the big Deathbringer ships are getting ready to fire, and all of the Hawkmen are now basically willing to give all their lives to stop them from destroying Earth.
Yeah,
And
they're
it's-
all just going in and setting bombs, trying to stop them, and it's the last one's still active, and
Yeah.
then Kryptonian comes in. He's like, well,
Well, that was cool. We all know I love Kryptonians, but the Hawk creature from Metal just wailing on it with his hammer
yeah, that's
on
good.
that one. Such a good, because you just see, we know how big he is, right? He's this big, huge, but just see him on this ship and see how tiny he is, and he's still just going at it, and there's the thum and the thum sound, But no, the Kryptonian, him going, but they say I can fire lasers from my eyes with this yellow sun. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's try that.
Yeah. And they destroy it, and he makes Idam relinquish the generalship of the Deathbringers by basically making him submit. He's like, I don't have to kill you, but I'm going to defeat you because I can't kill you. But I'm going to show you I was the general and you served under me.
Yeah.
You're
only the general now in my absence. You're not actually worth it.
Right. And he straight up rips that metal wing off of him.
Yeah, that looked vicious.
Which was pretty dope. And then he brings the mace down on his head in Grand Thor fashion.
Yeah, and he's like, look, all right, you've already submitted, but I'm going to hammer the point home a bit. And then smacks him.
Yep. And, man, it was just very Who Runs Bartertown. That's all I kept thinking from Thunderdome. Because he's just like, who's the general? And then that's what he makes him. And he commands the Deathbringers to leave. So it's again.
Hey, go be farmers.
Yeah, go do some good with all the chaos you've wrought across the galaxy, which means the big bad, whoever this darkness of the abyss is that they were serving. I'm sure is not going to be too happy about losing their army to Carter Hall. But we get this really cool moment that one of the Deathbringers comes forward, and it's Katar, the original, which makes for some timey-wimey. That's
shenanigans, and it does happen. It's like, hey, look, you need to remember, and now, Carter remembers everything.
From all time and space.
Is there one on that page there where he's wearing the helmet in Naboo, or is that just a similar looking design?
I'm looking. No, are you talking the one with the
top left
jetpack?
Oh, is that the jetpack one? Okay.
Yeah, he's the jetpack one. That's the one from Rand.
Yeah. Never mind.
But yeah, so he remembers everything, even what just happened. So this is canon in all of their lives now, which creates a loop, right? Which is what Hawkman's always been about.
Yeah.
So it's still true. So Idam being, the one that started all of this, but Xanadu comes up and she's like, that was quite a show. All the stuff that you've done now, it's all led to this. And it shows him writing in the journal, and he can't just sit idle though.
No, of course not. So he goes and visits Idam, at the end, who's he's locked up in a big prison.
Yep, and he's wearing some kind of thing that's neutralizing his power.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, you will slaughter again, because a new blood campaign. Because if you've done all this, it's just gonna start anew. You
You ended this, but it won't last. Something else will come up anytime. And it's a next Hawkmen of War.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling. I think the next issue is an adventure from the journal. I don't know if that's maybe we're getting like an arc of those like journal issues. I don't know. That could work.
And I'm okay with that. But yeah, Venditti just stuck the landing so well. It's probably my favorite Hawkman story now that it's done. Like, I was in from the beginning watching him rob, temples and stuff, finding out who he was, and then we got all this history stuff. But to bring the essence of Hawkman again while keeping everything that's also happened, that's a real skill.
Yeah.
And to make all of this canon so they all remember that there was that time that they came together to basically save the universe and save Earth. It's real cool. Now we get to see him do the whole alternate lives things, and now we have more. Like, I'm excited to see the one from Ran, and even the one from the Microverse, and the Red Harrier.
I hope we get the odd occasional mini just on the adventures of one of these Hawkmen.
Yeah. And now we can go forward too, because now that we've done the whole time loop thing, now we can have Carter Hall going forward being Hawkman, because they seed what happened with the red-haired woman who we see as Kendra. And how that saved his life and changed his life. So, but and
credit to Hitch over the 12 issues. No, I don't think there was ever a delay on the book. I don't recall any, but 12 issues in a row, and probably the best art I've ever seen from him.
Yeah. So, I just wish we had seen some Adam as Vin Diesel early on, because once I made that connection, it made his character that much more.
I get it.
So, what'd you rate in this one?
Yeah, this was great. It's a solid 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.
Oh man.
Yeah, really good. Stuck the landing.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm just enjoying myself over here. I'm reading a story about how a theatre in Montreal accidentally showed Curse of La Llorona instead of Detective Pikachu to a theatre full of little kids.
I love it. You get one of those stories every so often.
Yeah. Well, I was reading this one. What was funny about it is they were talking about how, because how you get trailers, a horror movie will have horror trailers. So the parents are there with their little kids, and they get a trailer for Annabelle 3. He's like, this is weird. Creepy doll, scaring my kids. I'm going to complain to the theatre after this. Then they get a trailer for, like, Child's Play remake. Like, this is very bizarre. Why are we getting all these horror trailers? And then Curse of La... I've not seen Curse of La Llorona, but apparently it opens... Oh, I'm going to be seeing it for streams, Matt. It's happening.
No, I know. I'm telling other people.
Sure, okay, but I'll be seeing it. But
people who have the ability to save themselves.
Apparently, it opens with a scene of a child being drowned, and I'm like, my dark sense of humor is loving this. Yeah. These kids are all scarred for life.
I really want to see Detective Pikachu. Looks great.
Pikachu is dead. Children dead.
Yeah, I know.
It looks so good.
But that'll take us on then, on that note, to our final book of the week, which is Wonder Twins issue 4, where the twins go out on dates. Not together, they go separate dates. I mean, it's a double date, Matt, not with each other. Get your head out of the gutter.
I'm laughing at Zan, because I wish there was more people like Zan out there.
Zan was making me laugh in this, because he gets this date with a girl who just clearly wants to make her ex-boyfriend jealous. And... he shows up at the movie theater while they're there.
To be fair, she doesn't end the scene where he asks her out at the science fair.
Yeah.
True. But they get there, and he's offering the ex-boyfriend popcorn. He's just delightfully cheery. And
he's so into Gun Cop.
He is.
Like,
it's his favorite new movie.
That was me at the movies. Yeah. That was me at the movies when I first started dating my now wife. I was like, nah, I paid tickets. We're watching this movie. No funny business.
Yeah, and the funny bit.
I like how it's just when he first started dating, like it changed.
Yeah.
Like it changed, yeah.
Well, that's why we go see things twice. The second time doesn't matter as much.
Oh, actually, if I'm reading this correctly, what he's saying is that she stopped trying funny business eventually, so he didn't have to tell her anymore.
Yeah.
There you go.
Movies.
I've solved it.
$20.
I paid for the movie. I'm watching the damn movie. If you want to go sit in the dark and make out, we could do that anyway.
Yeah. At home.
Just turn out the lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we so he's on this date, and he meets up with his sister afterwards, and she's asking about it. He's like, her and her ex-boyfriend are getting back together, and he's like, no, it's fine. Like, we had broken up in like 3 weeks anyway, and now we can be friends forever. It's another win for Zan.
He's like, I gotta go home to my pet monkey.
Yeah.
He really cares about me.
And also, the line I liked about the movie that you said was, you should have seen this movie. It was Jaina. It was great. At first, I thought it was really bad because like all the bad guys were really good at killing, but it turned out the good guys were even better at the killing. So everything worked out.
It was at murder, not at killing.
Oh,
at
murder. Sorry,
Murder.
better at murder.
He's basically watching a John Wick.
Yeah,
because that's John Wick in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Oh, the bad guys are really good at killing, but the hero better at murdering.
I love how the end is like. So it all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out in the
Gun
end.
Cop. I want a Gun Cop shirt now.
Yeah,
That was a great shirt.
And Jada's
And you have to wear it with a bow tie.
dating this guy who actually wants to be a supervillain. And
The red flag.
Yeah.
I love it.
yeah, I mean the parallels here to like dating someone and they turn out to be like an extreme nut job. It's the parallels is really obvious.
Because the first time you see him, like, oh, he's this nice guy at the science fair, and calls her flashlight because of her science project of a flashlight that runs off of solar power.
He's a bit like, that cheesy forwardness. It's like, hey, he'll be an opportunity and a contrived excuse for you to see me again.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very, very open about that, though.
Yeah. And then he's like, what was it he says at the end? He's up about, all these single mothers, feeding off welfare. Am I right?
Yeah.
he's one of those dudes.
Yeah.
And yeah, she transforms into like a cheetah or something then and runs off. She's not having it.
Takes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And then the sub thread through this is the what's his name? Philo.
Polly's dad.
Yeah, Philomath and Polly.
Yeah. Her
finding out that he has to work for Lex, and she's disappointed in him, and she's created this internet that's even better because it's based off of the human brain.
Yeah, we get more of the backstory as to what happened exactly with her mum.
Right.
That she was killed. So if I have any complaints with this issue, it's just that all that subplot with Polly and her father are kind of relegated to the first half of the book, and then once it switches from that, it's just on the dates, and it's just a fun book after that. It's kind of weird on a pacing issue or a structure issue.
Yeah. I love the one scene with Soups where he's like, "Hey, computer, soft jazz."
Yeah. I love when they're on the date at Garlic Dungeon, and he says, "I chose this place because they have unlimited breadsticks, and I think you should have whatever you want in life, Debbie." Assuming it's breadsticks.
that's so sweet, Zan.
Oh man, I love Zan so much. Like he was getting on my nerves with the first couple issues. I was like, oh, this guy, he's just kind of this vapid. But this issue, I feel Russell really hit the groove on what makes Zan work, and he's just this lovable. He's Andy Dwyer if he could form into water. Like that's basically who he is, and I love it. So
yeah, a little bit. No, that issue was good. I also like the idea that the Justice League can take a night off because the Legion of Doom are having a mixer, so they know that there's not going to be any trouble. Yeah. So that amuses me too. Just fun shenanigans.
Yeah. That's very politics. How like the opposite numbers, of the cabinet, and then their opposite number they'll have holidays at the same time. They'll agree like informally. It's like, hey, look. We'll do this at the same time. No funny business. We'll both just take a week off.
Even here, where politics is getting really, really, really nasty, they still agree when it's time to vacation. We're gonna stop the BS, and we're gonna take a
week off. Yeah.
It's funny how they can all come to agreement on vacation days really quickly, but anything else.
And giving themselves raises. They always agree on that.
Very good at that. Very good at that.
Yeah. But everything else, it's like the sky is blue. No, it's not. It's light blue. It's like, well, you guys are arguing the same thing. Just semantics. Come on, let's get it together. Let's do something good.
And that's politics for you.
Yeah, it's a room full of Connors. Some of the fights he picks, you should hear it, Matt. You should hear it.
Great fights.
No, I'm not. What the Twins for was fun. So. Yeah.
Such a delightful book.
Yeah, it's like it was making me smell a lot, especially in the back half of the book when I got to the dates.
Yep.
So Matt, what do you give it?
8. I'm really enjoying this as it goes.
Carter.
8.5.
I'll give it a straight 8. So there you go. That's Wonder Twins, which will take us out of the part of the show where we pick our favourite stuff of the week. We do our favourite panel/moment, our favourite art, our favourite cover, and our top 5 books. So Matt, what was your favourite panel/moment?
I'm going back through. I think it's gonna be from Wonder Woman, and it's when Steve shows up, and she's trying to just piece it all together. It's that entire sequence. I like that.
That's fair. My moment is easily from Supergirl. It is a Crypto jumping in to stop her using the blade, and the look in his face is fantastic. Emotional hit point of the week.
Had I gone for that, it would have been self-parody. So I'd have gone off.
Connor?
I'm actually torn between two, which is frustrating because this is the first time in a while where I've not had a clear choice. One of them's the one it's towards the end of Flash where he's running and and he's like, oh hey, this is fun, and he's smiling.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yes, this is what an origin can be like. They can have fun.
Actually, I'm gonna change mine. Mine's from Shazam. Now that I think about it, it's Black Adam's last line. Now that I'm thinking about it, we have a third option. I'm gonna remove your head.
Off with your head, Dribblorny. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I'm just throwing in my second option for the panel because Matt's throwing in 2 now, so I'm doing
Sorry.
it. It's fine. It's also from Shazam. It's when Mary transforms. Yeah, that full page.
Yeah.
It's
really
great.
good.
No respect for the rules. All these double picks. Can't be having it.
Hey, I don't usually do it.
All right. Best cover then, Matt.
It's the Wonder Woman Fission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fission variant.
It is so good, isn't it?
The
I'm also
Cupid arrow through her.
It's one of the rare times that the variant is actually topical as well.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I'm just clicking on some of these variants because I've not seen them.
I do like the regular Flash cover though.
I like that as well. Yeah. I don't know if one's like sticking out to me quite as
it says a lot when there's a Sejic cover, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. But
which one was the Sejic cover?
The Batman and the Outsiders variant.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I have to go back and
But I mean, it's pretty good. It's solid.
Yeah.
But it's not like my favorite Sejic piece.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I'll probably go with Flash actually. I think the regular Flash cover. That's what I'm going with.
That's good.
All right, best art of the week then. Matt.
Who's going first? Xermanico. Wonder Woman. Easy. Venditti almost Venditti, but
almost Venditti.
Yeah, Xermanico, I'm a big fan.
He means Hitch, obviously.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, Venditti's art.
Venditti has
really good.
great art. Suddenly,
yeah.
He did it all by himself.
Connor.
Yeah, I was tempted to go Wonder Twins, but I'll give it to Wonder Woman.
For Wonder Woman, that's what we said.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to give it Dexter Soy for Outsiders.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Top 5 books. Matt, go.
Hawkman number 1, Wonder Woman number 2, Supergirl 3, Wonder Twins 4, and Flash 5.
Connor.
Wonder Woman at 1, Wonder Twins at 2, Hawkman at 3, Shazam at 4, Batman and the Outsiders at 5.
Okay. My number 1's Supergirl. My number 2 is Batman the Outsiders. My number 3 is Wonder Woman. My number 4 is Wonder Twins. My number 5 is Detective Comics. Oh no, Shazam. I forgot about Shazam. Shazam's number 5. There you go.
You sounded so worried then. It's like, no, can't have that be in the record.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
My problem with this week is that I rated so many things almost the exact same number. I was struggling to remember which ones I
actually preferred.
Yeah, I was really struggling there. I gave it a lot of 8s this week. All right, so there you go. That is the favourites. I must confess, I did leave it quite last minute to ask the
Again?
Twitters. Well, it wasn't as late as last time, although less responses than last week, though. What I will say is, from responses we got, it was very split. We had picks for Hawkman, picks for Shazam, picks for Wonder Woman, very spread out, which is maybe another testament to this week being fairly even, and there's a lot of books that we all kind of liked.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't think there was a standout amazing book this week. Like, there was a lot of really good books. Like, I gave like a couple of 8s and 8.5s.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, so I'll tell you what's coming next week. Next week we have a Batman 71, Superman 11, Justice League 24, Aquaman 48. Apparently Shazam number 6. I assume that's been moved.
Yep, that's not there.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if that was still
Naomi
there.
number 5?
Naomi number 5 is the last one. Nightwing 60 is also out next week. Me and Connor will get to that eventually, I suppose. Because Tyler makes us read it.
If we must.
But later week though.
Just reading what Nightwing 60 is about.
Oh god.
Yeah. I'm seeing the Mr. Miracle hardcovers out next week.
Yep. So if you're a fan of hardcovers, get that. I have the trade paperback, White Knight hardcover as well, which I need to get the trade for that soon.
Yeah, so it's a later week next week, which means we will probably ask for some questions on Twitter, and me and Connor will likely do some Patreon picks, or at least
1 or 2.
Yeah, at least Connor should be doing Red Hood at the very least. So that's what's coming next week. So of course, to wrap up, we ask you to let us know what you think of the books this week in the comments or on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. We like hearing from you. You can of course support us by liking, subscribing, or rating us on your iTunes app or whatever podcast app you use. Give us a 5-star rating and a review if you like the show. Help spread it amongst people who have similar interests. You can, of course, support us financially at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month. At the $5 tier, you get a bonus episode every month with me and Connor talking about a trade or a graphic novel. And we were really behind because we were waiting on Connor seeing Shazam to talk about the Shazam book. But he's taken so long to do it that we
things keep going wrong.
We squeezed in another book instead before we get to that. So actually, just yesterday, Teen Titans Earth 1 Volume 1 was the book that me and Connor discussed. I'll give you a one sentence preview of that episode. It's absolute goddamn garbage. So you could go and see me and Connor talking about that in depth on Patreon.
I warned you guys.
Yeah,
I tried.
We knew this going in, but we were working our way through all the.
You look at the 3 names involved, right? With the Teen Titans, of course, and then Lemire and the Dodsons, and you're like, this can't miss. And then you read Teen Titans Earth 1, and you're like, I have made a huge mistake.
My life choices have led me down a wrong path. I should have been a farmer. So
yeah. I bought that day 1 full price. I can't get rid of it.
And I got it in a sale, years later.
Just give it away, Matt.
Just give it away. Burn it for fire. Burn it for fire.
No, that might maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
You don't want someone's first experience with Teen Titans to be that book.
No.
Enough giving away Patreon for free, guys.
Hey, if it was softer, I'd say use it as toilet paper, but it wouldn't work as that.
Nah, the Dodson's art doesn't deserve that.
Dodson's art is still great.
Yes.
So check that out on Patreon. Otherwise, that is us. So thank you very much for watching or listening. We appreciate it a lot. It's worth mentioning we have another podcast called Television from the Multiverse, where me and Car talk about DC TV shows every week. And I'm pointing that out because we're actually about to get into some of the finales of the current seasons of some of the shows. I think both Flash and Arrow in the next episode will be the finales we talk about. Supergirl and Legends will be one behind that. They'll be like just.
And then Doom Patrol, the one after that.
Yeah, but then we have Swamp Thing, and we have other things coming in. And me and Carl get back to watching Gotham, which Carl watches drunk, and we have fun and talk about it. So,
yeah, but do you know what else is before any of that stuff?
Into Shield's back, baby.
Yes, it is. I'm so excited to go watch it as soon as we're done. I'm going to eat and then watch Agents of Shield, and it's going to be a great evening.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to watching that as well. But yeah, so check that out. And also check out Elsewhere in the Multiverse, which is me and Connor talking about books from other publishers. Just in the last episode, we talked about an issue of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the hit comic book series, along with the first issue of the spin-off to that, which is Angel. So that was fun. So go check out that. But otherwise, as so thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading DC Comics, guys, and remember to never get lost in the Speed Force, especially not in your origin story.